People ask, can we do like where we talk about our gameplay? Let's do it. So here's the plane. I want to go for a hotter drop this game just because I wasn't able to get a whole lot of action last game and everybody already died at the start. So let's go for a little bit hotter of a drop. Could we die right off the bat? Yeah, we could. Where do I like landing at Paradise Resort? I like landing on the back here. The reason being is like there's so much loot and it's just all laid out. It's easy to grab something really quick and not that many people I feel like land back there. They land more next to the buildings. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm going to start kind of doing a little bit of an S drop. Yes, sir. I figured War Machine, if I remember correctly. Let's see where homie here lands. So he's going to turn back into the buildings likely. I don't know, a lot of people all of a sudden just seem to land over here. But the reason I like this spot is just like all the loot is so laid out. And it's easy to grab like a vest and an AR and just be ready to go. Like look at this, helmet, vest, AR. You don't have to worry about like going in the buildings and getting shot at. Desk pop. I'm gonna take the double barrel shotgun. The double barrel is honestly not that bad of a weapon, especially for solos and on this map. Like maybe I'll even keep it. I'm gonna circle around. I don't want to run up through the center just because people can be lurking in buildings. They can peek out windows, balconies. Easy for them to get some good shots on us. Sounds like this fight just happened inside. If we go and peek from the staircase, we can get a good angle. And just like head glitch it basically. Sounds like he's up top there. You can hear his footsteps. Got him before he could go back up the stairs. There's a lot of stuff in our way, but he just kept moving. If he doesn't move, we can just keep moving and get an angle. He's going to be pinned down. Since we kind of caught him off guard, he wasn't going to have much of an opportunity. We got to be aware of other people pushing in. A lot of people like to land next to here and then push late. So pay attention to footsteps. Footsteps. You can just hear them. It's one of the biggest things, man. Sound is huge. Sound is huge, man. Sound whoring everybody. Like, I knew he was coming before he knew he was coming, bro. Can loot this guy on the stairs real quick. We need to get more ammo. I'm trying to kit out my gun. Got a flash hider. Get some recoil reduction. There's an M4 there. Don't really need it, though. So all we really need is a dot, and our QBZ is pretty well kitted. Sounds again. Super low. I'm going to push him. He's trying to med. He's going to get it off. So there, I knew he was going to get his first aid off. If I start sprinting, he can just, you know, peek me and have peeker's advantage. If I just wait long enough, I mean, he's going to have to hit some crazy shots. Well, he would have to hit some pretty good shots in order to just immediately peek around the wall and take us out. I need to get all of my equipment that I wanted to grab for this game early on. The painkillers are taking up a whole lot of space. First aids are taking up a whole lot of space. Painkillers are really, really heavy. So, same with the adrenaline syringe. I'm going to try to get full boost right now. Adrenaline syringe weighs double what painkillers weigh. And energy drinks weigh, I think they're about a third. So, yeah, they weigh 4. So, a little less than half of what the painkillers weigh. So, painkillers weigh 10, energy drinks weigh 4, and a syringe weighs 20. So, like, the weight of a syringe is like a shitload. So those are the things kind of weighing us down. Our grenades weigh a lot as well, obviously. Keeping one stun isn't a half bad idea, and also a smoke isn't a half bad idea. We've got level 3 backpack here and a vest. This is the other good thing about Paradise Resort and a few other places on this map. Paradise Resort's really good. The docks are really good for finding like level 3 vests and like high tier gear. Here's a compensator for us. I'm going to stick with the QBZ. Not because it's the best AR or anything, just stick with it. I think that the honestly the ARs in the game right now are all pretty well balanced. And people, I think, like to say the QBZ is overpowered just because it's the new gun. Like, people used to think that the Winchester was overpowered when it first came out, and the Winchester was weaker then than it is now. I think it's people like to blame the new gun for them dying or something. But really, anything you do with the QBZ can be done with any of the other ARs. Scars, just as good. M4 is just as good. AK, pretty much just as good. The only reason I say pretty much just as good is because the AK is more of a close-range weapon with how its recoil is, but even then, you can still use it for like a medium-distance tap fire. The 5.56 weapons will outperform the AK at longer distances just because of their bullet velocity and accuracy. But the AK has, I would say, a slight advantage in closer ranges, medium, and very close distances. Damage-wise, it just has a really good DPS output. And since it has a stronger round, when you land headshots with it, they're more devastating. But yeah, if you want to do really well on this map, you don't want to have to loot a lot of people. You'd rather get as much loot as you can early and then not have to worry about looting bodies after that. So honestly, we could probably use a little bit more 5.56. Because you fire at somebody, they hear your everybody around hears your gunshots, and they all push on you. So if you have to stay in that area and you can't really just keep watching around you, that's when you end up running into troubles on this map. So if you can get a lot of stuff early and then just not loot after that, dead bodies, and just avoid them, you'll be better off because of it. It's down to 27. A lot of people like the hot drop on the map, so a lot of people die off early. But even then, it's not really that bad of a thing. Still, people like 26 people for this map isn't that low, to be honest. Like, for this stage of the game, it is. But once it shrinks to second circle, third circle, you've got a lot of people within a small area. It doesn't look like it because of the map and circle sizes, but I mean, this circle is pretty small compared to like the 8x8 maps. There are different circle sizes on this map. It's kind of, if you're used to 8x8s, the 8x8 maps, Erangel, Miramar, and then you look at this map, it seems like, oh, damn, that's a far distance to have to run to get to the circle, or this circle is pretty big for this amount of people left, but it's kind of misleading because it's smaller. And you'll notice because on hard shifts, you're like, damn, that's a long distance away, but then you'll start running and be like, hey, I got here actually pretty quick, and that's kind of when you realize, oh, since the map obviously is smaller, 4x4, everything is scaled down, so something that looks like a long distance really isn't that long on this map. Want to constantly be checking around us as we move, being extremely observant. You don't want people to sneak up on you. Sight ranges on this map are much lower because there's a lot of change in elevation. There's tons of trees and foliage. Like on Miramar, you can kind of make like a 300-meter bubble around you where you can be pretty certain there's not really anybody like around us 300 meters. But on this map, it's like you look all around us, you can't make that big of a bubble. Like someone could always be right over the hill or right behind some rocks or trees. Same thing with Erangel making a bubble. I mean, you're always able to make like a pretty large bubble around yourself where if you clear out the area, you kind of know that you're safe. But on this map, it's not the same. Suppressed QBZ firing this way and a mini. I've pushed closer to center, so we don't have to worry really all that much about running now, moving around. See, this area right here, this area we can make it so there's a bigger sight range around us, but we also can get shot from further away here. See how it flattens out? You're able to see much further. It means people are able to see you much further as well, though. QBZ is likely firing this guy up the hill. He probably just died. So if we pay attention to the gunshots, a mini was firing from up the hill, and there was a suppressed QBZ at the bottom of the hill shooting. Yeah, see, here's the mini guy. He just ran across the road. We saw him for like a second. He's probably pushing towards the body to loot it. dead. So like I said, really, like I'm immediately my instincts, because I just play the games so much, you know, usually on Arendelle or Miramar, it's like, man, we can just run up and loot the body and we'll be fine. But really on this map, you don't want to do that. And I grab loot early so that I don't really have to worry about going and looting the bodies. The only like thing I would really like to get probably from the bodies now is more boost, so that you can stay boosted this whole time. But like my initial just reaction from habit from playing so much was just to run and try to loot the bodies right then and just like do it quickly and get out, because that's usually what it. Usually I'll loot bodies really fast on Arendelle and Miramar and then just dip off them, you know, because like I said, if you create a big enough bubble around you of safety, then you don't have to worry about someone getting close to you really quick when you've looted, you're looting a body. But on this map, you can't create that bubble, so people are easily able to sneak up. And now people see me do this with the 6x, even though it's a 3x zoom, and like, oh man, this gun's OP because look at, he just laser beamed that guy. And but the thing is, I'm accounting for the recoil, and anything that this gun is able to do with that, you could do the same thing with the M4 or the Scar. Like you could throw the 6x when you've got a fully kitted out AR and laser beam someone with that too. We showed it yesterday. I mean, you could do the same thing with the AK. It's going to be a little bit harder, but you could do the same thing with the AK as well. So, just because you're capable of, like, you see someone do this with the 6x, I don't really think it means that the gun is OP. Because you can do the same thing with the other ARs as well. Also, sometimes, I mean, just fun. It's fun swapping it up. It's fun putting a 6x on your gun and trying to spray people. Something we've done for a while. But I mean, if you've watched long enough, you've probably seen me put this scope on any of the ARs, M249. I've even done 8Xs before and just spray people with that full auto spray. You just drag your mouse down as you're shooting. I mean, drag your mouse down, sometimes left or right, depends on how the recoil is going. It's just recoil compensation. It's not as simple as just, yeah, drag your mouse down. Like, sometimes you gotta adjust left or right a little bit. If you want to get better at it, just practice. So right now, I'm just scanning the area around me, nonstop, looking back and forth, all directions. This is like a little bit more of an open area, but we still got good cover here. So I'm able to see around me a little bit better. And we're close to the center still, so. But yeah, I'm just looking around. Trying to make sure no one gets up too close to me. Circle's moved, and it's shifted quite a ways away, northeast, east. I'm gonna put my red dot back on. I'm gonna hit another booster. Try to keep my boost up, so I'm constantly healing. That crate landed close, so I didn't actually get to see exactly where it came down. Oh. There's a guy running down the hill over here. People often ask, how did you spot that guy? What do you look for? So usually look for movement, different colors in the environment that are not normal. So someone ended up looting the crate. I should have maybe came in and checked the crate earlier, but I kind of lost track of it when it was coming down. It's not the biggest worry to us. Just want to be careful that we don't move into somebody else here. Don't think that was the guy from the hill. Looked like he came from the buildings, but I guess the guy, he could have ended up over there. It looks like there might be something in this, yeah. So like, how did I spot that guy? Because there's some black looking thing just chilling in a bush. He's been headshot. So, I mean, when I'm moving around, how did I end up spotting that guy? I'm looking around, and then all of a sudden you see a bush where it's supposed to be all green, and you see something like black in it. So it's like, what is that? Is it a guy? Yeah, it's a guy. He's just chilling in the bush there. He's moved back. I probably shouldn't have shot there. I gave away to him that I'm flanking. He's worried about someone else right now, though. It sounds like. There's a guy coming down this hill. We could gatekeep him. There's also a suppressed sniper firing up this hill here. Okay, he wants to fight us, so he's gonna die. No. Lit us up pretty well. So now this is a worry. There's like a huge open side range. I'm just gonna go prone and pray to God someone doesn't see us. We just killed a whole lot of people around here, so it's not super likely there's someone else, but there could be. This was the guy that looted the crate. He just hung back here. He had some really good shots on us, but we were able to finish him off. I'm gonna push closer to the tree. We hit him good right there. Could nade. He just kept moving. It was pretty good by him. He kept changing directions. But he exposed himself quite a bit there at the end. Rather than like leaning cover, he was just standing in the open, and I had cover to lean. Whenever he was, you could notice, whenever he didn't peek for a minute, I moved into a different spot. And hopefully because of that, the plan is that we catch him off guard. Like he peeks the same spot I was just in, and we ended up killing him because we have a better angle on him then. I kept moving. You don't want to stay in the same area. This be the same target. But whenever he's not peeking, that's like me trying to take advantage of the first person there. Whenever he's not peeking, we can reposition. You just got to be careful because if he peeks you again right when you move, it's kind of a timing thing. It's something you got to fill out with the guy that you're fighting. It's like, how long is he like taking in between his peaks? Type of thing. Is it something where he peeks constantly, nonstop, or is he just peeking and then he waits like a few seconds and then peeks again? You know, did I just light him up? Is he likely medding? Okay, now's my time that I can maybe move. And even if though we're only changing our position just a few meters or a few feet, he re-peeks that same spot and we have a slightly better angle at him then, or surprise him, then we have the advantage. There's two guys fighting up this hill. Someone just died in the play zone, so this guy inside, there was a guy. I think he might have killed this dude on the other side. Like he might have lit him up enough and he was in the play zone. Likely these guys are away from us, but let's hit the boost again. Let's try to keep our boost up so we're constantly healing. Our vest is really messed up right now, so. What would be nice right here is if the other two guys fought, then we would know where they're at, obviously. And it gives us the advantage. Sometimes it's best just to chill out and see what the other guys do first. See if we can spot somebody. I think if we get pushed, we'd likely get pushed from the north because we just killed so many people on this backside. But yeah, like I was saying, something you got to fill out with your opponent on moving and whatnot. But just by moving those few meters, we have the advantage on the peaks from being able to surprise this guy. So we just heard the shots. I'm immediately going to push on these shots and try to cut this guy off. Try to get on top of him before he can actually reposition. So I'm in a pretty good spot up here on the hill. We can see a lot. So it sounded like he shot from down near the buildings. Nope, he's at this rock. We just seen him move here. I lit him up a little bit. I'm going to toss a nade in. So he was at this rock. I'm flanking on it. Ooh, we had some stutter right then, but he went prone at the rock. We already lit him up, and then I threw the nade on. The nade's going to make it so he's deaf, right? So we can flank without him hearing us, and we're able to take him out. But GG, there it is, man. There it is. There's the round. So I moved up on the guy. I really thought he was going to be down lower from what it sounded like, but I made sure to keep, you know, keep checking around, keep looking back and forth, because if you don't see him initially, I mean, he could have flanked. He could have been flanking left, and we just didn't see him, and luckily I spot him when he moves next to that rock to catch us. So, just something you got to be aware about at the end of the game. And to like touch on that, what I was saying a little bit more is like when we get in that long drawn out battle with that guy, like trying to fill out what the dude was doing or how long in between his peaks. And I was just swapping from cover to cover to cover. And honestly, in the end, that might have been what ended up getting us the kill. Because even though he started shooting at me, he might have expected us in a different spot and exposed himself more to us because he was checking a certain angle to begin with. And then he started shooting at us, right? But when I turned to fire at him, he was completely exposed. So in the end, us moving those little spots, you know, from cover to cover to cover whenever he wasn't peeking us, even though he came out first and initiated on us, he might have expected us in a different spot and then exposed himself more to us because of that, which gave us the advantage to kill him. Since we're in cover, we can turn on him when he's fully out. But, yo, GG. We bring it home.
And his name is John C.
Boom. Let's go.